So, hi guys, good evening, all of you. Guys, I'm audible. I'm audible. Okay, yes. So now, guys, here in the last session, we've taken some information about DBMS models. Okay, so finally, when you come to in your DBMS model, so what we said, guys, here the hierarchical and networks, these two models are outdated, we said, and the relational database model is a very more and popular and most popular database model in real time. And in this, again, we said here the two parts will be there, guys. Here one is object relational is a one part, and object oriented, okay, database management systems. Okay, but object relational is completely depends on SQL language, and these are all comes under, okay, relational database management system softwares. Okay, now, but when you come to NoSQL, so that is MongoDB, Cassandra, these kind of things are comes under the object oriented databases. Okay, so this is in the next level of programs here. Okay, if anybody, especially if anybody join into MongoDB, yes or no, so particular Cassandra, this kind of data warehouses, this kind of things, okay, if anybody join it, so those people will be using this one. Okay, but our part is what? No, object relationals. Then we will discuss in object relational. We said, guys, here SQL Server is one of our component or our tool, okay, which was comes under object relational database management systems. Okay, now, right, come to the first one here. What it was going to be happen, so that we will discuss in this session. Okay, now, right. Okay, so the basically, a few questions we will come out here. So what is SQL Server means? Simple, we can say, guys, you have SQL servers. Okay, simply we can call as okay, SQL Server. Okay, we call it as it is a, okay, SQL Server is a RDBMS. Okay, RDBMS. Okay, product, we can say. Okay, it is a one of RDBMS product. Otherwise, even though we called as it is a database software, we called as it is a database software, and or else even though we called as it is a backend tool. Okay, now, so you can say like SQL Server is a one of the RDBMS product, relational database management system product. Otherwise, we can say it is also called as like a software, and otherwise we can say it is also called as a backend tool. Okay, now it is called as a backend tool. Okay, but basically this SQL Server software, this SQL Server database, why we want to, okay, means this SQL Server software is used, guys, here, okay, is used to store, okay, data or information, to store data or information permanently. Okay, so here permanently means where it will be stored. Where it will be stored means, simply we can remember, it will be storing under hard disk. Okay, but SQL Server database, okay, is not only for storage data or information, guys, here. So whatever we are going to be storing the data or information, okay, by using of SQL Server in our hard disk memory, so that was permanently we can store. And not only for permanent storage, along with this, okay, along with the, okay, along with providing some security also. Okay, providing so high level security, providing high level security. That means, so not only for storage, not only for storage, along with storage, it will be provide security for your data. Okay, so that is the reason why the people are using databases nowadays in real time or in their organization means. So one is we can store our day-to-day transactional information of data, And along with that, we need to provide what now? High level security. So security is also very, very important, okay, in real time, because data storage means, okay, anybody can store data, like in the files or in somewhere you can store it. But their storage is how much important for us, okay, to store our business data. In the same to same, the storage of data should be secured, okay, should be security. So that is very, very important for us, okay now. So that's why databases advantages what now guys here, along with storage it will be providing security also. Along with the storage it will be providing security also. So that kind of okay, the advantage we have in the databases. And here one more very important point should be underlined here. We said this, okay, this is used to store data or information permanently, I said. So permanently means here it's called a lifelong storage. Okay. So unless the user has to delete the data from your database, then only data will be deleted. Otherwise, the data will be permanent here. So permanent, okay, unless the user has to go and delete your data, then it is deleted. Otherwise, if any kind of the database corrupted or database failures, okay, if anything is occurred, abnormal terminations are occurred, then only some problems be created. But otherwise your data will be permanently stored. Otherwise the data will be permanently stored, okay now, right? But this is the product of, guys, here, this is a product of, okay, so some people are asking, so which one he was introducing me? It is a product of from Microsoft, guys. It is a product of Microsoft, okay now. So this is the purpose of your SQL Server database, okay, storing data or information permanently along with the security manner, along with the security manner. Okay, right. But before I want to store this data or information by using of SQL Server, okay, database, the first of all, we should go to know it, how we want to deploy this SQL Server software, how we want to deploy this SQL Server software. Okay, now, so first, when we use SQL Server database for our storage purpose, okay, for our storage of data purpose, first of all, we should deploy your SQL Server software. Okay, but how I can deploy here means SQL Server can deploy, okay, it can deploy, okay, it can deploy, okay, in any operating system, guys, here, in any OS, that is called any operating system, like okay, like we have to use like Windows, okay, like we have to use here Linux, okay, like we have to use here Mac, okay. So this kind of the softwares, this kind of operating systems I can use, okay, to deploy your software. So your deploy is nothing but, guys, here installation. So compulsory we should install here, okay, we should install before you want to store your data or information into this SQL Server databases. First of all, we need to deploy here. But whenever you want to deploy this SQL Server, okay, they can use any kind of OS platform. You can use it, either Windows OS, you can use Linux, Mac, okay, Solaris, etc. You can use it for deployment purpose. Okay, so after deployment is over, okay, then what it was going to be happen, sir, internally. Okay, this is very, very important for you. So once I said, okay, once I installed my SQL Server software, okay, once I installed my SQL Server software, so internally what it was going to be happen, okay, what it was going to be happen, okay, let me see, guys, here. Okay, so once we installed, okay, SQL Server software, okay, SQL Server software, internally, this is very important, remember, guys, internally, okay, there are two components. Internally there are two components, or there are two components are installed. Components are installed in your system, okay now. So once we install SQL Server software, internally there are two components are installed in your system. That means in which system are you installing your software? In which system are you installing your software? Okay, now, so which system are you installing your software? In that system, there are two components are installed. Okay, that means these two components are installed along with your SQL Server software. Okay, so what are those components here? What are those components here means first one is called as a SQL Server client component. SQL Server client component. Okay, and the second one is called as a SQL Server database component. SQL Server database component. Okay, these are the two components, guys, here. Okay, it will be internally installed when we are installing the complete SQL Server software. Okay, so once we are installing complete your SQL Server software, completely your software is successfully installed here. There are two components internally installed. One is a server component, SQL Server client component. One is SQL Server database component. Okay, these are the two things will be happen. Okay, now right. So database server component. Okay, now fine. So client and server components are installed internally. Okay, so now let me check out, guys, here. So what is client component and what is your server component? Okay, so what is your client component and what is your server component, and how these two components are internally working? So that is also very important for us. So how these two components are internally working? Okay, and what is our client tool? Okay, and which client tool we are using to interacting with your SQL Server database? Okay, what is your server and server component, what it will do internally, what kind of operations will be performed here, so that we will check out. The first one, I will check out here the client component. The first one is SQL Server client component. So here SQL Server client component, okay, is going to be used, guys, here. Okay, so I can say it can be used. Okay, it can use it for first one is what now? Step one. First we have to connect. So we can connect to SQL Server. Okay, this is what here the first step we can do it. And the step number two, we can send a request, okay, to SQL Server. And third step, what we can do means we can receive okay, response. Okay, we can receive response from SQL Server. So these are the three steps we can do, guys. Okay, these are the three operations we can perform. So what we can perform here means it can use, that means this client component is used. Okay, client component can be used for the first connectivity purpose. That means whenever you want to work on SQL Server database, first of all, we should know to connect here. So first, the user has to connect to your SQL Server. That is my first task when I'm going to working on SQL Server database. Okay. So once you was established connection, once user is established connection, okay, to SQL Server database, then after that, the user can send the request to SQL Server. After that, the user can send a request to SQL Server. So this is second. So once the user sending request to server, then server, what it will do, guys, here, okay, the request will be taken, the user request will be taken, and after taking that request, it will be processing, and after processing, the response is going to be sending to client application. Okay, and whatever the response sending by server, the response is also received or get by user by the help of a client component only. Okay, client component only. Okay, now, so what is our client component? For example, what is our client component means we are using client component name is called a SSMS record. Okay, now are you understand now? My client component is nothing but what now? SSMS. SSMS stands for what? Means SQL Server Management Studio. So SQL Server Management Studio, it stands for, and this is called as our client component or client tool also we can say. If you go to any interviews guys here, if anybody asks you, okay, what is your client tool to connecting our SQL Server database? If anybody asks you, then you have to tell them, so my client tool is called as a SSMS. So SSMS stands for SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, now that is what it will do it. Okay, right. And after successfully connectivity, sending request, receiving response from the server. So this kind of things I can do, I can get through your client component only. That is nothing but SSMS. Okay, now that's what. What about server component? The second one is called as a server component. So this server component internally, for what purpose the server component is going to be installed here and what kind of operations, okay, it will be doing. Okay, now you can see. So in this server component guys here, again, we have two more subcomponents here. That means it again contains, it again contains two more subcomponents guys here. Two more subcomponents, and in this two more subcomponents, first one is called as an instance. Okay, first one is called an instance, and second subcomponent is called as a database. Second subcomponent is called as what now? Database. So here, what is instance and what is database? Okay, these are the two subcomponents are having under your database server. Okay, having under SQL database server. Okay, now, so what is this? What is the instance and what is the database? Okay, let me see guys here. So first one is called as the instance. So instance is called as a, okay, instance is called as a, it is a temporary memory. It is called as what now? Temporary memory. Okay, this is a temporary memory. And whatever we saved, whatever we stored under this instance memory, that was a temporary storage we call. So that means data can be stored in temporary manner. In temporary manner. Okay, so temporary manner it will be stored. So that means your data until unless your data was there under instance component, under instance memory means the data is not a permanent storage. The data is not a permanent storage. It is a temporary storage or temporary, okay, storage or saving we called, but not a permanent store. So why sir? Why sir means the reason is what now? This instance subcomponent, whatever it was there guys here, this instance subcomponent, the subcomponent memory, okay, is allocating from, okay, your system is allocating memory for this instance subcomponent, from where it is means from RAM location. From where it is means from a RAM. Okay, now, so whatever the instance subcomponent is there, for this subcomponent purpose, this component purpose, okay, allocate, okay, from where it will be allocate memory for this instance subcomponent. Okay, so that is what now? RAM. That means your system is allocating a memory for instance component from which location? RAM location. And we all of you know this guys here, RAM is nothing but a temporary storage. We all of you know this, RAM is nothing but temporary storage. Yes or no? So that's why instance is also temporary storing your data. And second subcomponent is called as a database component. So this database component is called as, guys, here, it is a permanent, memory. So why, sir, it is a permanent memory? Means this memory allocating from your hard disk. Okay, so database is called as a permanent memory. And why it is called a permanent memory means this component memory is allocating from hard disk by your system. From where it is allocating, guys, here? From hard disk. So that's why it is called as this kind of database is called as what now? Permanent database, we can say. And whatever the data I'm storing into this, database component, so the data can be permanent, guys, here. The data can be stored permanently. Okay, now, so that is what the point here. Okay, so that means what I said. So server component internally having two more components here, instance and database. Instance is nothing but a RAM location. Okay, because of reason this component memory allocating by the system from RAM location. So RAM is always temporary storage of memory in our system, and whatever the data we can store in this temporary storage, okay, in this memory, that is a temporary storage or temporary manner we call. And database component is called as a permanent memory component. Because of reason this database component memory is allocating by the system from the hard disk, and so that databases are called as a permanent storages we called. Okay, now, so these are the two components which was having under server component here. Okay, so that means finally the conclusion of this point is what now? Once we installed SQL Server software, successfully we installed here, internally there are two components are installed in your system. One is called a SQL Server client component, one more called as a SQL Server database server component. So client component can be used for what purpose this client component I can use? Means the client component I can use for connectivity purpose, sending request purpose, receiving response from the server purpose. And what is our client component? Means that is called a SSMS is our client component. And SSMS stands for what? SQL Server Management Studio we called. Okay, come to second one is server component. In server component, again we have two more components are instance and database. Instance component is called as a temporary memory because of the reason it can be allocating from the RAM location. Okay, it was allocating from RAM memory. So allocating from RAM, so that it is called as a temporary storage we called. And whatever the data we can store or whatever the data we have under instant, that is just a temporary storage and temporary saved. Okay, now, but not permanent. But if you want to save your data or store your data into permanently, then we need to use what now? Database components. And database components are called a permanent memory component because of reason this component memory is allocating from the hard disk. And in this, whatever the data can be stored, that is a permanently stored. Okay, these are the client and server components. Okay, but how these two components was working to each other? Okay, how these two components are working to each other means, let me see, I will show you on small diagram for you guys here. So by seeing of that some diagram, you will get some idea on this. Okay, okay, just observe my diagram here. Come on and see. So carefully check out this diagram, guys, here. So once, if you want to check this diagram, you'll get some idea. So what it was going to be happen. Okay, now, so I hope this diagram is clear for you. Is it clearly visible, guys? Is it clearly visible? Okay, fine. And now let me see, guys, here. So this is my client server architecture, how it was working together. Okay, now it is observed. So now this is my client. This is my client. Okay, so my client tool, which tool I'm using to communicate, to connecting to my SQL Server database means SQL Server Management Studio tool. This is called a SSMS. So that means a user want to a user want to work on SQL server, a user want to work on SQL server database. So user, he cannot directly work on that. Okay, this is very important to remember. Okay, so whenever a user want to work on SQL server database, okay, then the user is not possible to directly work on your SQL server database. Okay, now, so it is not possible. It is not possible. So that is the reason, guys, here we are going to be taking, or we are going to be taking some interface, like an interface also you can say. So what is our interface here? Client tools. So with the help of these client tools only, I can interacting with my SQL server databases. Okay, suppose this is the user, and this user is using one client tool. The client tool is called as a SSMS tool. Okay, so what I can do, guys, here, what I can do, guys, here means through this, my first requirement, what I said, guys, here, through this, my first requirement, what I want to do, first I need to connect here. First I need to connect here. Okay, now, so this is my first requirement. Okay, through client tool, what I am doing, first I need to connecting. So I just connecting to my SQL server. Okay, so this is what. Suppose your connectivity is successfully done. Okay, then what is my second requirement here? The second requirement is I'm sending some request. I'm sending some request. And what is after sending this request will be received by, that means taking by server, and server will be processing your request. And after processing, it was the sending response to user. The response is called as your third option, we called as response. Okay, now, so these are the first option, second and third. These are the three steps I can do, okay, by using of SSMS. Okay, but what it was happening, sir, let you see. For example, are you connecting to your SQL server database? Successfully connected, guys. Successfully connected. After connected, now what I'm going to do, this user, what he was going to do, he was sending one query request. Okay, so that means whatever the request I'm sending to my database server, the request I'm sending in the form of a SQL query. Understand that? I'm sending in the form of a SQL query. Okay, now, so the request I'm sending in the form of SQL query. Okay, and those SQL queries we are using by using of SQL language. So with the help of SQL language, we are writing some SQL queries, and through that query, we are sending our request. Okay, for example, now user is going to be sending just a sample. Observe, I'm telling now. Now user is sending one request to database server. So for example, what is my request? Okay, what is my request here? My request is, for example, insert into so and so table and data. Suppose 1 comma Smith, I'm going to insert it here. So when user inserting a request, which request I'm inserting? Okay, which request I'm sending? I'm sending which request? Insert request. I'm sending which request? Insert request. So I'm sending a query request. Okay, that is insert. And what happened? This request through, this insert query request through, what we are going to do means we are sending some data. Okay, by the help of insert query request through, what we are going to doing means we are sending some data. So, but whatever the data we are sending here, this data will be stored under temporary storage. Will be stored under temporary storage. Okay, temporary storage means instance memory. So now your data will be come to you. So your 1 comma Smith data is storing under temporary storage memory, that is called as a instance memory. That is called as a instance memory. So what I said, this instance component is called as a temporary storage. Why? Because this memory is allocating from where it is allocating, I said, from allocating from RAM. So now what it was happening, guys, here, suppose your data was having in the instance memory, right? So still my data is there in the instance memory, is nothing but RAM memory. Okay, so exactly at this point of time, for example, exactly at this point of time, suppose user has to go, he was a disconnect now, guys. Suppose the user exactly at this point of time, he was going to be disconnect now. Disconnect from SQL server. Okay, so disconnecting from SQL server. So whenever user disconnecting from SQL server, then what it was happening, guys, here, whatever the data was there under instance memory, this data collapsed. This data will be collapsed here. Okay, so why sir this data is collapsed means because of reason this data is storing under RAM location. This data is storing under which location? RAM location. So that's why data cannot be permanent. So this is temporary. So that reason, once you disconnecting from your SQL server, then what happened, guys? Here, whatever the data was there in the instance memory, in this temporary memory, so the data will be collapsed here. The data will be collapsed here. Okay, now this is what it was happening. But now, for example, now you can see. Now the same to same. Okay, so I just connecting here. Fine. Okay, I'm just connecting here and now sending the request. For example, here I just connect. After connecting, now I'm sending the request now. Suppose one query request I'm sending insert into, okay, 1 comma some name I was given here, 1 comma some name I was given here, Smith. So when I'm passing what I said, this data will go to storing under instance memory. Okay, so now I just come out and see. So 1 comma, okay, Smith I was. But sir, here my data, where it is, guys? Here, sir, here my data was having in the instance memory, having in the instance memory. Okay, now having in the instance memory. So now this instance memory data, I need to store permanently. That means whatever the data was there in the RAM location, the RAM location data I need to store. Okay, I need to store into permanently, for example. Okay, so now I feel that means I'm thinking, yes, my data permanently I want to store. So whenever you want to store permanently means, so what I want to do, this instance memory data I need to move into where I want to move into my second subcomponent is called as a database component. So and database component is which type of storage? Permanent storage. Why, sir? Means this component is taking memory from hard disk. Okay, so that means your database memory is allocating by system from hard disk. And we all of you know this, guys. We all of you know this. Hard disk is a permanent storage. Okay, but how, sir, how the data can be moved? Okay, now the question is what now? How, sir, how the data can be moved? Means here one language command is there. The command is called as a commit. Which command, guys, we are using? Commit. So when I'm using commit command, what it was happening, guys, here, whatever the data was there in the instance memory, this data successfully moving into database memory. This data successfully moving into database memory. So 1 comma Smith. Okay, now then what it was happening, guys, here, whatever the data was there here, whatever the data was there here, so this data already, what it was happening, guys, here, this data already transferred, that means moved into from RAM memory to, from RAM memory to where it is your data now in okay, database memory, where it is now in database memory. So once your data successfully, that means once you committed, then data successfully transferring from RAM to hard disk memory. So whenever your data is successfully stored under hard disk is nothing but database, then at this point of time, suppose user has to disconnect. At this point of time, user has to disconnect from SQL server. Okay, from SQL server. Then what happened, guys, here? Your data will not be loose. Okay, now your data will not be loose. Your data as it is in my memory. As it is in my memory. Yes or no? So because of reason, because already my data successfully, it was reaching to your hard disk. Okay, I already moved from instance memory to database memory. Data was already moved. Okay, so whenever data moved into database, then it is a permanent. Then it is what now? Permanent. So after that, you can go and disconnect whatever you can do. Okay, you can go and disconnect whatever you can do, but your data will not be loose. Your data will not be loose, and your data as it is, it was there in your database memory. Okay, now this is what happened. And the same to same, suppose this database data, if I want to retrieve, for example, data retrieval. Retrieval means reading. So whenever I want to read the data, so here also we have some command I'm using. The command is a select command. So whenever you are using select command, okay, then the data was retrieval from the database to RAM location, and from the RAM location to sending your client application. Okay, so when data retrieval means reading, okay, reading your data. So when I want to read data from database memory, then there we are using select query we are using. So your select, commit, insert, these are all are called as a queries. And those queries I will practically show you, don't worry. Okay, now, right. So now what happens, select a command through, we are reading our data from your database. And that data will come to your client application. Okay, now, so that is what happened, guys, here. Okay, so this is the way the internally your client and server components are communicating to each other. So that means, yes, simple I want to say, guys, here, he's a user. Okay, and this is my database server. Okay, so when user want to communicate to database server, compulsory he needs some interface. He needs some interface. So that interface is called as what now? SQL Server Management Studio. So SQL Server Management Studio will act as, it will acting as a what? It is an interface between, it is interface between to whom and whom? User and SQL Server database. Okay, now to whom and whom? Okay, user and SQL Server database. Your client tool, whatever I'm using, that will be act as a interface. Okay, now, so this is what we called as, guys. Okay, are you clear? This a client and server communication. Okay, this is all, even though we called as a client server architecture also we can call. Okay, fine. So this is what we called as, guys. This is what we discuss here. Okay, so once you have to installing what it was going to be happen, I just show it now. But here I was explained here some diagrammatically I explained, but don't worry, practically also I'm showing to you. Okay, now in our SQL Server classes, I'm showing practically how the data will go to instance memory, how we need to transfer your data from instance memory to database memory. Okay, now, so that was practically I will show you, so don't worry about it. Okay, but in coming classes, in one by one classes, you will be get it. Okay, right. So this is just theoretically I was explained that the two components are how it was working. The two components are how it was working. Okay, fine. So later on we can come out and see. So finally these two components purpose we discuss in this part. Okay, we discuss in this part, but here, so okay sir, so once you installed internally what it was happen, that we discuss, that was fine sir. Okay, but the next one is what now, guys, here. The next one is what now, guys, here. So once we, okay, so otherwise when we want to, after installation, okay, when a user want to, when a user, okay, I want to say like want to work on SQL Server database, work on SQL Server database. Okay, then okay, then we follow, that means then user follow, the following two steps, guys, here. Follow the following two steps. Okay, so if you want to, that means after installation, two steps I need to follow. Okay, now, so once you successfully install, so installation successfully done, and internally client component is get it, internally server component is also there. So after that, okay, now, so now I'm ready to work on. Okay, so my SQL server ready for me. Yes or no? Successfully installation is over. Internally client is there, server is there, both are happened. So now I'm ready to work on that. Okay, now I'm ready to work on that. So whenever you want to work on SQL Server database, here there are two steps mechanism we should follow, guys. Okay, now, so what is that, sir? Okay, first one is called as a step number one here, how to connect. Okay, so how to, okay, the first one, otherwise I will say, first one is called as a connect. Okay, connect to SQL Server. Okay, and step number two, what now? So once you successfully connecting, what is the next my operation is called as what now? Communication. That is called a communicate. That's called a communicate with the database. Communicate with the database. Okay, now, so once your software is successfully installed, okay, internally client and server components are successfully established here, and after that, now user is ready to work on. So now in this working on SQL Server, so we have a two kind of mechanisms, the two kind of steps or methods we need to remember. One is we called as a first, what we want to do first, I need to connect. After that, communication. Okay, so what is connect and what is communication? So I'm getting some little bit confusion, sir. So can you explain what is connect, what is communication? Okay, I'm little bit confusion, sir. So please explain. Okay, let me see. First, I will give it some real life example. Okay, in our real life example, first I will show you what is real life example, guys. Here, for example, there are two friends are there. Carefully observe. There are two friends or two users. So user one and one more user is there. One more user is there. So he was user number two. Okay, now suppose these two users are best friends. They are best friends. Okay, fine. But as per their work, as per their career, user one got a job in Hyderabad location. So he was working as a software engineer in which location? Hyderabad. So his best friend user two is working, for example, in Mumbai location. For example, in Mumbai location. Okay, now, right. So that means both friends are working in two different locations here. My point is clear now. So now tell me, guys. Okay, what is my point here? Suppose this user one, he want to talk to user two. So when he want to talk to user two, okay, so then what it was happen? He can directly talk. Come on, guys. For example, your friend is working in Mumbai. You are working in Hyderabad. So now you want to talk to your friend. Okay, then are you directly talking, or else nowadays we are using what? What we are using nowadays, guys? Yes. So nowadays what we are using, guys, here, we are using mobiles. Okay, now. So nowadays we are using mobiles. So mobile applications are there. So now what I am going to do, first I need to, okay, take a mobile. So I have a mobile. Suppose I have a mobile. So the drawing understand, guys, here, no problem. Okay, this is one mobile, guys. Okay, this is mobile. So this mobile device, I'm using mobile device. So user one, he's using this mobile device, and through this mobile device, he will be calling to his friend U2. Okay, so now he was calling. So whenever there is a number is there, your friend number is there, you're calling now through your mobile device. So your mobile is working like a one device. It is working like a one device. Okay, now, so working like a one interface. Yes or no? Right. So now I have a mobile, I have my friend number. I just call that number. So my call is going to my friend. Then my friend is lift my call. So whenever my friend lift the call, then what it will be, get it message here. One message will be getting on the mobile screen. What is the message, guys, here? Connected. Okay, now. So whenever we are calling to our friend and our friend immediately lift my call, then on your mobile screen, what it was going to be happen, connected, one statement is coming to you. So connected is successfully done. After connected, what I want to do, guys, here, tell me what we are doing. Once you connected to your friend number, once we connecting to your friend number, what next we want to do? Very good. Next, what we want to do? Communicating. Here, what we want to do? Communicating. So next one, the step number 2, he will be started. He will be started communication. What he will be started? Communication. See, very important. This concept very simple and understand. Okay, communication to data. Sorry, communicating with your friend. So communication is required. But tell me, guys, here my point is what now? Connectivity purpose I'm using mobile. Okay, now connectivity purpose I'm using mobile. Okay, fine, sir. I'm using one device. Okay, for connectivity. Okay, fine, sir. But tell me, guys, here, if I want to communicate to my friend, so what we required here? Any guessing? What we required here? Any guessing? So what we required here? Language, communication. Communication is nothing but language. So here I required language. Here I required language. Suppose your friend, both are well-known Telugu, they are using Telugu language. So both are well-known Hindi, they're using Hindi language. So both are well-known, okay, English, they're using English language, and both are Marathi, Tamil, whatever it is, some etc. languages. So that means here, two things I'm using, guys, here to talk to my friend. One is I wanted one device, one tool I required, that is called a mobile. I required mobile. And later I required one language. So with the help of these two things, I can successfully communicate with my user. I can successfully communicate with my user. So how I'm telling here in the real time, okay, in general example, easy to understanding purpose, I was given this examples, guys. Okay, so how it was going to be happen in our real life. Okay, same as in database also happening. Yes, very good. So it's a clear picture, and this complete notes material I'm sharing to you guys, don't worry. So clear notes I'm sharing to you. Okay, now after the class I'm sharing these notes to you, all of you, don't worry. Right, so now we can see, yes, here what I am doing, guys. So this is the user, this is the database. So now user want to work on database. Then first step is what I said, connecting. So how I'm connecting means I'm using SSMS tool. I'm using what now? SSMS tool. So with the help of one client tool, I am connecting to my database first of all. So successfully we are connecting with the help of SSMS. What is the next I have to do? I'm going to communicate with my database. Communication means what now? Sending request, getting response, sending request, getting response. So communication. This communication purpose, which language I'm using? See, very important point this is. Which language I'm using? I'm using SQL language. So here I'm using what now? SQL language. So one is SSMS tool. SQL is a language. Understand now? So with the help of this two, I can work on SQL Server database. I can work on SQL Server database. So that is what I required, guys, here. Okay, this diagram also understanding now, that is what I required. Okay, so that is the reason I said, so when a user want to work on SQL Server database, then the user should be follow the two steps mechanism. One is connecting and communication. So here what I said in this category, in the connectivity purpose, okay, when user want to connect to SQL Server, then we need or we required, okay, then we required a tool is, okay, can you see, very important, okay, called as, tool is called as what? SSMS. Okay, now SSMS stands for what I said. SQL Server. Management. Okay, what is this? Studio. Okay, that is I want it. Okay, now understand now, right? And the next one is called as the second step is called a communication. So what I said, when a user want to communicate, want to communicate with the SQL Server database. Okay, SQL Server database. Then, okay, then we need a language. Okay, now, so understanding my point now, a language is called as what? SQL. So SQL means what now, guys? Here, SQL means what? Structure, query. Come on, language. Structure, query, language. Okay, so these are the two things mechanism should be followed. This is very important note point for you. Okay, these are, so that means finally what you concluded, guys, here, I need two things. One is I need one client tool for connectivity purpose, and I need a good knowledge on SQL language. Okay, so whenever you have a one client tool, and when you have a good knowledge on SQL, then with the help of these two things, I can happily work on my SQL Server database. Okay, now, so that means finally what you required, first I required to take SSMS, and later I want to know SQL. Because of reason, your database is understand only SQL language. Okay, but your C language, C++, Java, .NET, Python, these languages cannot understand by database. So database is having its own language to understand. That is what SQL. So SQL language understand by database, but SQL language not knowing by user. Okay, I'm the user, but I don't know SQL language what it is. But when I want to talk to my database, then database can understand only one language, that is SQL. But that SQL as a user, I don't know. Then what I want to do, if I want to communicate with my database, I need to learn SQL. I need to learn SQL. Understand my point now? So now that is what we are learning, guys. Why are you learning? Why are you learning SQL? If anybody asks you why we need SQL, why we need SQL means you say, I need SQL to communicating with the databases. Okay, communicating with the databases, I need a SQL language because databases can understand only one language, that is SQL. Okay, so through that only I can communicate. So this is what the thing. And the next question will come to you guys here. Somebody is asking now, or else if you go to any interview levels, so in between classes, in my explanation of classes, I'm giving where it is interview point of question will come you. Okay, so that point also I'm discussing in the explanation time. Okay, now, right? So suppose somebody is asking, sir, what is the differences between, okay, SSMS versus SQL? If anybody asks you, for our bad luck, because so many people also in demo classes, so many students are asking to me, some people are asking, sir, differences between SSMS, SQL. Okay, now tell me, guys, here, by seeing of this small information, can you say SSMS and SQL both are same? What do you say, guys? By seeing of this small information, can you tell me now SSMS and SQL both are same? No. That means one point was getting clarity. So first we got a clarity. What is our clarity? SSMS, SQL both are not a same. So one clarity is got it. Yes or no? So now, then what is the differences, sir? Okay, now, so the differences, okay, we will discuss. Okay, SSMS, what it will, SQL, what it will do. What is the differences in between these two things? Okay, now, but these differences, guys, here, so we will discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay, now, so then one by one the main classes are started. Actually, the main class today I started main class. Okay, if any newcomers are there in this batch, don't worry. Today is the first session of your SQL Server, and I will give it also data. This is my first session, guys. Session number 1 of your SQL Server course. And today's date, what is the date, guys? Today, 8 and the 2nd, 2022. Okay, now. So this is our first session of SQL Server, and before that, before SQL, whatever the classes are happened, that is just a DBMS introduction parts. Okay, so that is a completely okay. The before SQL Server, just a minimum understanding of what is what. But your main classes are started, okay, SQL Server from today onwards. Okay, now, right? So that's why newcomers, don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything. And one more thing, whatever the previous demo classes are there, that all videos, okay, my Nourish IT people will be uploading into Google Classroom link. Okay, videos or recording videos. Okay, if anybody miss the first demo classes, don't worry, demo class videos also we are putting into Google Classroom. Okay, the recording videos also I kept into Google Classroom, so don't worry about it. Okay, now, and the Google Classroom, the Nourish IT management people will create, but still they are not created. I hope that's why I didn't get any response from the Nourish IT. So once they created, the link will sending to you and me also. Okay, now after that, so as of now, okay, demo class videos and what we can say, running notes and main notes, and up to here, whatever it was happened, complete notes I will send it to you, and along with the recording videos also. Okay, now, so that's why don't worry about it. You will get a recording videos. Okay, the whatever the starting to, okay, so today, maybe today also they will send it. Starting to today they will send it to you. Don't worry about it. Okay, right. And one more thing, so I already said to you guys here, one point is what not, two notes is you will be get it. One is called a rending notes. Rending notes means this one. So whatever this is called a rending notes, I was explained here. Okay, now, so main notes are there. This is called a main notes. Can you see this main notes? Okay, for example, one main notes I'm showing. So introduction to DBMS. Introduction to DBMS, this is main notes, guys. Okay, now this is main notes, and this notes are actually DBMS introduction part we completed actually. So this main notes you will be getting, and main notes is having a clear cut definitions. Okay, so introduction to DBMS, what is, these all we discussed, what is data, what is information, what is the data storages, and disadvantages of books and papers, and the flat files, file management system scheme, and disadvantages, all we discussed. Okay, now, so the clear notes with the clear diagrams are there in your material. So see, OLTP, OLAP, clear diagrams. Okay, wherever the diagrams are required, all the things will be happened here. Okay, now, so these are what we called as, guys, here. Okay, your notes. Okay, for your, okay, what we called DBMS notes here. So this is a clear notes will be there to you. Okay, so this is main notes, and you will be getting main notes in a PDF format. Okay, now main notes you will get in the PDF format, main material, and running notes you will get just a text format. This is a text file. So this is my running notes. This running notes you will get a text format, and main notes you will get a PDF format. So that is a identification. So you need to identify which is my main material and which is running notes. And even though I am also sending with the definition, with the headings also. Okay, so that's why don't confuse. Okay, right. So PDF you will get a main notes, and the text file, normal text file, you will get a running notes. Okay, right. So these are all are okay. We are going to be sharing into Google Classroom, and you just do one thing. What do you want to do? So Google Classroom link you have to take from our Nourish IT people. Okay, now that is your requirement. Understand now? So right, guys, and yeah, so I stop it here, the today's session, and tomorrow we'll continue the differences between SSMS and what next, SQL. Okay, right, guys, and after I will show you guys how to connecting to SQL. First phase, the phase 1, step 1, we will show it how to connecting to SQL Server, what we want to do, and after that we started communication. Okay, now, right, so everything will be step by step, so don't hurry, don't go for enthusiasm. Okay, what we can, somebody very very tension, oh fastly I want to complete, sir. So don't worry about that. Okay, so cool mind, we have a 50 to 60 sessions. Okay, happily we can learn each and every point. So I'm teaching also step by step, easily I'm teaching to you, because if any background or non-background students, they can easily understand my language and my notes also. Okay, now, so that's why don't bother, don't hurry. First thing is don't hurry. Everything you will be get it. Okay, now, so we will provide that. Okay, right, guys. So now, yeah, I stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, fine. And today, as usual, if anybody have a doubt here, okay, you can ask your doubts. If no doubts, you can log out. Okay, now, right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, first I'm giving a chance for chat box. Okay, right. So chat box people. So if you have any doubt today's session, you can send your request. So one of our friend is asking, Hamad, why we have instance and database? Why not one thing? Hamad, tell me, in your system, you have only hard disk, or else are you purchasing RAM also? Come on, Hamad, tell me, you have only your computer RAM, or you also having hard disk? Both are there now. Why you both are purchasing only hard disk is enough now, Hamad? Why are you taking RAM? Only hard disk is enough now. Why in your computer is having RAM and ROM? Understand RAM and ROM? Temporary storage sometimes, for example, when you go to created some object for a class, yes or no? If you are a .NET and Java student, or you created some object to the class. So when you created object to the class, your object purpose memory is allocated now. That is which memory? Your object memory is which memory? Hard disk memory or RAM memory? Come on, in your programs. Hamad, object which you created for your class, that is RAM memory or that is a hard disk? That means sometimes what it was happened, temporary operations. For example, result is there here. One program are you writing? The program execution output is came now. Yes or no? That output is not a permanent. Just after successfully executing your program, some result will show you. That is a temporary showing it. The result is temporary showing. Same like this in database also. Sometimes when you inserting level, updating level, deleting level, what it was happen, sometimes we need to temporarily store, sometimes we need to permanently store. But when it is temporary, sir, when it is permanent, sir, that is question. That question answer you will get it in coming classes. Okay, now, Hamad, I will explain to you why RAM, why ROM. Okay, you are saying why instance, why database, why these two memories required, sir? Means definitely the two is needed for us. Why we need it in coming soon, you will see. Okay, right. Next friend. Old version, Jagannath, I think old versions are not working, but new versions are, it was supported. Okay, newly versions are supported, but not old versions. Okay, right. Lab sessions, I'm giving a software installation video. I will give it some link to you and the installation software and software downloading and installation. That okay, one video link I'm sharing to you, all of you, in Google Classroom. So through that, download and install. Suppose you have a laptop, you can install that software into laptop and work it. Okay, so otherwise, if you are staying in Hyderabad, or you staying in Hyderabad, go to labs. Are there Naresh IT labs also provided? So go to labs and there you can practice it. Okay, now that is what. So today's first class, Shubham, there is nothing problem. So today is the first class of SQL Server. So there is not, don't worry about it. And previous classes, recording videos, my people will be uploading into Google Class. So you can check it that. Okay, but this is the main class today we started. Okay, fine. Yeah, definitely, Satish. Okay, installation video. Okay, one link I'm sharing to you. So by watching that video, you can install here. Okay, if any problems are come out, I will discuss with you. Right. Yeah, Arikrishna, the SQL Server videos are providing by your Naresh IT people providing to you. Okay, in Google Classroom. Okay, now, right. So right guys, and I stop it here. And mic people, right guys, okay, Anju, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anju.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, I have a doubt on commit command, sir. After creating tables, every time shall we use commit command for permanent storage purpose, sir?
No. Here, actually, we have here DDL commands, DML commands, like some separation of commands are there, separate languages. Okay. So in this, DDL commands are different, DML commands are different. Okay, now. So DDL command, whatever you did, that automatically committed by system. So commitment is not necessary there. But insert, update, delete, these are called live transactions. Okay, now, because for example, are you going to ATM machine, right? So you need to take a money.
Yes.
Okay. So money taking or not, whose decision? Yours decision or ATM mission decision?
My decision.
Your decision. Yes or no?
Yes.
That means you are the user. That means your money you want to take. That means the taking permissions are yours. So I want it or I don't want it.
Yes, sir.
That is called a commit. If you wanted money, what you choose from ATM machine?
Withdraw.
Withdrawal, and we are doing some insert ATM card, enter PIN number, enter amount.
Yes, sir.
Lastly, two options will come. That is called a decision making options. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If you wanted money, or you click on which button?
Yes button.
Yes button. If you don't wanted money, where you click?
No button. No.
Yes, this is what we called as a commit. Choice is yours.
Mine.
That concept is there. Don't worry. Proper practically, I will show you in coming classes. Okay, that will be understood. Okay.
Yeah. One more doubt, sir. I heard SQL Server is platform dependent, but you told but SQL Server software we install Linux also supports and some Mac operating system also
Windows,
supports.
because actually SQL Server is a dependent when it is means it is a 5 to 6 years back, I think so, old version, the 2008 R2, yes or no? So those are dependencies, but later Microsoft will be converting into independent.
Okay, sir.
That is what. So previously, you know that if you are a .NET related information, if you know, .NET is also previously platform dependent.
Yes, sir.
Yes, or 10 years back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Framework is there now. That is what a dependency. It was working on only Windows.
Windows operating.
Then later it will convert into independent. Now you can use what we can say Linux also, Mac also you can use. Right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, Navneet.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to interact with you, sir. Sir, like, so you said to one of the mate to that, you should prepare like a civil servant aspirants, people from non-technical background. So how many hours of a practice in a day is good for SQL Server, sir, for people who are
sincerely working without having any what we can say disturbance or something? Every day, 1 hour practice is enough.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now, without any practicing, that means once you're sitting in front of your laptop or whatever it is, you stick with that 1 year sincerely.
Okay, sir.
That is 1 hour sincerely per a day. If you do it, it's more enough for database awareness. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
But like you quoted to civil servant aspirants, they will study 20 hours in a day.
20 hours. But who? That means which kind of people?
Like people who are from 5 to 6 years education.
Who are already keeping some experience. Now, suppose you are a fresher, not necessary that much. Okay. So 1 hour. If you're a non-background student, 1.5 hours. That's enough. Okay. But somebody keeping 3+, 4+ of experience now, those people will do hard work like a civils. How the civils we prepared. But for this purpose, 1 hour. And non-background students, extra half an hour if you do, that is a best practice for you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's it. But it's not like that everyone do civil. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Next, Manoj.
Sir, hello.
Manoj.
Sir, I have a doubt that if the data is moved to OLAP databases, if I want to modify that data, how, sir?
Modify. That
Modify.
modification is also, you can do it. See, one thing, remember, suppose last year, that is last month, you did some transactions in banking sector, right? Manoj, are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Last month, you did some transaction through your account in banking sector. Last month data, can you update it?
No, sir.
The concept is very important. So in January 2nd, I withdraw 5,000 rupees from my account. So what happened? That information is storing under your database, right?
Yes, sir.
That is a new data or old data?
Old data, sir.
Old data. Old data, where it is?
OLAP.
OLAP. So already that was printed. That means action is completed. Some result is came. Some messages came. Again, I can go and I can modify. Means it is not possible now, because you already 5,000 rupees you taken already.
Okay.
When you go to nowadays we have a passbooks now. Banking passbooks are there.
Yes, sir.
Go to bank and print your passbook.
Yes, sir.
In passbook, what happened? Your transactions information are so and so data. For purpose is this much amount is withdrawal, this much amount is deposit. That kind of information is there in the passbook. Yes.
Yes, sir.
That means that means your what? That's why I said as one point I said to you, OLTP is called a live transactions, live, spotly insert, spotly update, spotly delete, live transactions. But once the data is moving into AP, then we can't do. Only reading. Understand now? Only reading, but we can't do anything on OLAP. That's why whatever you did, updation, deletion, whatever it is, that is live transactions.
Okay, but you said that it's depending upon the business range. Some of the companies updated hour to hour.
Not updated. Updated. I didn't said updated. I said moving from OLTP to OLAP based on your business and business information. Suppose your OLTP memory was full, they will go to moving. In which way? Hourly basis they're moving, daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. That is called a moving. That is, I said now, OLEP. ETL tools. By using ETL tools, we are transferring TP to AP. That is my point.
But consider Facebook, sir. If I posted some photo today, it's stored. But I want to update that. Making any caption changes.
That is called a live transaction. That is called a live transaction.
Okay.
That is live transaction. When possibility is there, updation. That is called a live transaction.
If the data is moved to OLAP, then no modifications are not done.
Not done. That. Impossible.
Okay, so.
That is, I'm telling that TP, live transaction, insert, update, delete. AP, only select.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right.
Thanks, sir.
Now next, Chaitanya.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Today's session was too good, sir. That client-server architecture.
Thank you so much.
Actually, I was having some doubts on that, so it was clear.
Okay.
What is my doubt is, what is this server-to-server connection, sir? I heard it somewhere, but I'm...
Server-to-server means that is called as a two databases data transformation. For example, now I have in my system SQL Server. In your system also you have SQL Server.
Yes.
So my SQL Server information, I need to move into a transfer to your SQL Server.
Okay.
at this moment also we can do. That is what now, like detaching, attaching methods, backup creations through, I can go to move my database from one server to another server.
Okay.
So that is actually in real time what happened. Why the people maintain multiple servers means the backup storages. Because for example, suppose this is my laptop. I feel it is example, it is my one server, and you have a laptop that is one more server, right?
Okay.
Suppose this, whatever the data is stored into my system, that complete data I'm sharing to you, and you kept into your system.
Okay.
In future, suppose in my server, if any collaborations are happen, that means any destroyed, any abnormal terminations, or else my database is collapsed here, something has happened, then what happened? I lose my data, right?
Yes.
But already the data you have it now, I already send it to you now.
Yes.
So that is supporting to me now. Yes, that means if I lose, unfortunately, abnormally, if I lose anything in my server, and whatever the backup I send it to you, again through that backup, again I can restore.
Okay.
That kind of multiple servers are maintained by industries. Like one is a backup purpose, one is a present working purpose.
Okay. Okay. And the just before you discussed about OLAP and OLTP, no, sir. So I just have a doubt, sir. When we are booking the tickets in IRCTC, I mean, this is in the process. In this process comes under OLTP, right, sir?
Right.
So actually, when I try to book in between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock midnight, the server will be busy. Actually, means we can understand that they may be moving. I mean, they may be
not. I think 12 to 1. I think 11:30 to 12.
Yes. I mean, they
so
may be.
Why that is very important. That's what. Why, sir? IRCTC website is not working at the end of the day, half an hour. Okay, the 11:30 to 12. At this moment, if you try to book any, that means you just try to open your IRCTC. Still, it is not open. It was saying some message.
Yes.
So you are unable to access the site present so and so time to so and so time. It means what now, sir? Means on the day 24 hours, how many transactions are performed by users through IRCTC website? That 24 hours transaction will storing under TP, right?
Okay.
And that last half an hour time period, that TP, whatever it was storing 24 hours transactional data, in half an hour time period, they will be transferred to AP.
That means warehouse, right, sir?
Warehouse.
Okay.
So this is continuous regular operation in IRCTC. That's why I'm telling. Can you remember? Hourly basis you can move, transfer. Daily basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, quarterly basis, half-yearly, yearly. So it's a depends on your business. For example, IRCTC is a user, yes or no?
Yes.
Indian Railway is one of the largest, what we can say, sector. Indian Railway. So per a day, so many transactions are going to happen. The per day data they're moving. It means what now? Every day 24 hours data, last half an hour, that means 23 hours, half an hour data, they're moving from TP to AP. That what when it was happening midnight. Okay, now that means they set like that. The IRCTC people, they set like this every day, last half an hour, I want to take a space to move my data TP to AP. Okay, if I'm not doing that was, then what happened? My memory will be full now, TP will be full now.
Yes.
The next day, and one more thing, online means what now? 24/7. Anybody can access, anytime can access. So if you TP memory full, the next day operations will not store.
Yes.
That kind of process. That is best example. TP to AP transformation last half an hour. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, sir.
Are you clear now?
Yes, sir. Sir, if you want to cancel the ticket next day, so then it comes under because we can't update that AP, no, sir. So how?
Here the point is observed. What are you doing? Cancellation. Cancellation means what? Deletion.
Deletion. Yes.
Deletion. So that means what it will be happen when you cancellation, you are going to be checking first your PNR status number, right? That means PNR number, something is called. So you have some PNR number is there. You selected which PNR ticket you need to cancel. You are going to select it. Selected means what happened? Data retrieval from AP to first to selected now.
Yes.
Without selection, directly we can't delete now, because so many tickets are there. For example, tomorrow I booked one ticket. Day after tomorrow, one ticket. Okay. So tomorrow means what now? 9th. Day after tomorrow, 10th. So I want to cancel 9th one.
Okay.
Or 10th one, or both. That means what we are going to do, first we need to select it. Select means what now? Retrievaling data from AP.
AP to?
Okay. AP to TP. That means your application, client application, not TP, client application directly.
Okay.
From there you are deleted.
Okay.
For that purpose, you are using what now? Some .NET code, Java code you are writing now in front-end application.
Yes.
That is your front-end application, which you deleted, your ticket, whatever the IRCTC's website is there, that is your front-end.
Okay.
Okay, so your selected data, first retrieval from AP, sending to your client application. So from that memory, you delete it.
Okay.
So this
Thank
is
you so much.
Yeah, it will be happen like this. Okay. I'm getting late to my next class. Okay, Chaitanya. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And sorry, guys, some people are left. Don't worry. I will interact with you guys tomorrow. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much.